Let's look at a few more examples of using the distributive property. So in this instance, I just said in that last video at the very end that even if you have things written as subtraction, you still want to always think of them as addition. So I'm actually going to take the moment and rewrite these as addition just so we can see what you can see what I'm thinking of here. So these parentheses, there's actually a -5 that's multiplied by them on the outside. So we distribute the -5 through the parentheses. So we get 2 plus, let's see, -5 times 3a is -15a. -5 times -2b is 10b. Negative times the negative is a positive there. There are no like terms to combine, so I'm done there. On this one, again, I'm going to start off by converting everything to addition. Let's see, we get 3x plus the opposite of y plus the -2 times x plus -2y. Alright, so these first parentheses, you'll notice there's nothing multiplied by them, there's nothing else going on with them. They're just going to be added to something else. So that means we can actually use the distributive or the associative property rather, to just drop these parentheses. We have 3x plus the opposite of y. But these second parentheses, these are multiplied by a -2, so in order to drop them, I do have to distribute the -2 through these parentheses. We get -2x plus 4y. That's the -2 times -2 is 4. And we get, well, the y is still there. At this point, I would want to look through and see that I can combine some terms, the 3x and the -2x. I'll kind of move things around so that they're next to each other. And 3 minus 2, when I combine like terms, 3 minus 2 is 1. We get 1x, which is just x. Then we can also combine this term with this term, the -y. This is a -1y if that helps you think of it that way. -1y and 4y, when I combine those, -1 plus 4 is 3. We end up with 3y. Alright, on this one, the first parentheses don't have anything multiplied by them. I can just drop those parentheses. The second parentheses are multiplied by 2, so I will have to distribute my 2 through these parentheses, giving me 2y plus 2. Then I'll combine like terms. The 3y and the 2y combine to give me, well, 3 plus 2 is 5. I keep the y the same. And then combine these two terms. 2 plus 2 is 4. So we end up with 4y plus 5, or 5y plus 4 rather. Alright, on this example, these first parentheses are, well, actually let me take and rewrite everything. You know what, I'm going to be lazy about it. To rewrite everything using addition, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. It's a nice little handy way to rewrite everything so that it's all addition with a minimal number of strokes of your pencil. It's a very handy thing to be able to do. Now, when you're doing these things on computer, you're working on these assignments on MyLabs Plus, I do recommend you write every single one of them down on a piece of paper and you work through them. Don't try to do them in your head. This is not a good method. You need to kind of write these down because they get too complicated. All right. So in any case, I changed everything to addition. Now I can say these parentheses are multiplied by 4, which means I need to distribute my 4 through the parentheses. And in this case, that 4 actually goes to each of the 3 terms. You can see there's 3 terms here. 4 times x squared gives me 4x squared. 4 times a -6x gives me -24x. And 4 times 8 gives me 32. Alright, these parentheses are multiplied by a -6, so I need to distribute a -6 through these parentheses. So then -6 times x squared is a -6x squared. -6 times 3 is -18x. I apologize for my cat meowing. I'm sure you can hear that. -6 times -5 is +30. Alright, so I've distributed I've gotten rid of all my parentheses. Now I can combine like terms. 4x squared and -6x squared is -2x squared. So that's this one and this one. 4 minus 6 is -2. And we keep the x squared the same, because that's our variable part. Alright, we have -24x and -18x. I can combine those two terms. -24 plus -18. Well, 24 plus 18 is, what, 42? Yeah, 42. So we get negative 42x because they were both negative. And I keep the variable part the same. And then I can combine the two constants, 32 plus 30, which is 62. Alright, in this one, again changing everything to addition would look something like this. And, well, you can see these second parentheses, they have a negative on the outside, and in order to get rid of that negative, I'm going to have to distribute them. Or in order to get rid of the parentheses, I need to distribute the negative. But the first parentheses, I can just drop them, since there's nothing multiplied by them. So we get plus the opposite of A there, the opposite of A, and the opposite of B, which is just B. So when we combine like terms, A plus the opposite of A, that's A minus A. You're taking a number and subtracting itself. These two cancel. Or if you're looking at their coefficients, you could think of this as 1A plus negative 1A, and 1 plus negative 1 is 0. We would get 0A, which of course is just 0. So in either case, either way you look at that, those cancel each other out. They go away. Then we end up with B plus B, which you can think of as 1B plus 1B. Let me rewrite this one. 1B plus 1B, well, that's 2B. Or not to be. Alright. On this one, thinking of everything as addition, like so. Alright. I'm going to multiply this 2 through these parentheses so I can drop them, distribute it rather. So I get 2x plus negative 2y. 2 times the opposite of y is negative 2y. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. That's how those coefficients work out. On these parentheses, I also need to distribute a negative 3 through them. So negative 3 times y is negative 3y. And negative 3 times the opposite of x, we're taking a negative times a negative, because this you'd think of as a negative 1x. So negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. We end up with 3x there. Now I can combine like terms. The 2x and the 3x combine to give me 5x. 2 plus 3 is 5. And the negative 2y and the negative 3y, well, negative 2 plus negative 3 is negative 5. And so I end up with a negative 5y, or 5x minus 5y if you'd prefer to write it that way. Alright, last example on this video. Convert everything to addition, like so. Okay. Now you can see there's nothing multiplied by these parentheses, so I can just drop the parentheses. I get x squared plus a negative 2x. But these parentheses over here, I need to distribute this negative 2 through to each of the two terms. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x, and negative 2 times the negative 2x squared, well, negative 2 times negative 2 is 4, and x squared is just there. So now I'd want to combine any like terms that I can. The x squared with the 4x squared would give me a 5x squared, because this is 1x squared. 1 plus 4 is 5, and we keep the variable parts the same. And then this term with this term, they're both have x's, so negative 2 plus negative 2 is negative 4. So we end up with 5x squared plus negative 4x, or 5x squared minus 4x if you prefer to write it that way.